And
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, and a bunch of training. They have these bombs. The Air Force uses training bombs. They're 500-pounders and different things, and they're as big as this desk.
All right.
So we landed at the airfield there, and of course we had live load, and we had to go shoot our rounds. And so we took our cannons off and shot our cannons, and then came back up, and they loaded us up and took us back home.
So before you went over to your tank training,
Mm-hmm.
we talked before the show. You
Yep.
got your jump wings, right?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Oh, you never did go to
No,
jump
I did.
school?
I did go to jump school. Unfortunately, one wet morning in the 34-foot tower, was charging up there, ready to go, hooking up and getting ready to, and slipped and fell down the whole set of stairs, landing on my knee. And
oh, really?
So I took an injury, and they said, that's enough, you're going to go on without us. And so they sent me to Fort Bragg, and I didn't have to jump. But we did do air assault, and so our unit flew around in helicopters a lot, which was a lot of fun.
Do any fast rappelling out of that, or did you?
No, but I got to kind of hang out on that bungee cord way out over the skids and look down at the trees and pick a leaf or two as we went by. So that was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that.
So how long were you in jump school before you?
I was actually coming up to the jump week, where it's a 3-week course, and you end up your first week is just a bunch of chaos. The second week you're doing tower week. Your third week you go to do your jumps. And so I was a day away from.
Really? And they wouldn't let you do it?
And they would not let me stay.
Any stories of any jump schools when you were there? Did you anything?
No, but
really?
Fort Bragg was a lot of fun because we'd go out to the landing zones, and they're all very clearly marked and pristine, and of course on a military base everything is dress, and you watch
rocks are white.
Rocks are white, always, and you always see the retired sergeant major's houses off post because they have white rocks around them. But we would watch, and our sister unit was an airborne unit. And like I said, our unit was air assault, so we kind of supported each other. When they would do their jumps and do their heavy drops, the parachutes didn't always open. So we'd watch these, massive howitzers, 155 millimeter howitzers come flying in, nose first into the ground, stick straight up just like a fence post. We'd get a kick out of that too. Or every once in a while, and I'm sure you've seen them, a vehicle called a Gamma Goat.
Oh yeah.
6-wheeled thing, looks like a swamp buggy. It's a lot of fun to drive. Bounces like a mule going down the highway. We'd see those come. They'd come in and take a little hop and then flip over in the air and land on the roof.
Wow. They didn't stay in the system very long at all.
No, they didn't.
They were mainly just for transporting of wounded.
Mm-hmm. It was a big swamp buggy. It's the only thing I could akin it to. It was shortly replaced by a Humvee.
It was. The steering wheel, the column even came out on an angle.
Yeah, and it only had a 3-cylinder diesel engine in it, so it was kind of a crazy thing. And the brakes never worked, so figure that one out.
That was the casualties of people you couldn't.
Yeah, the casualties.
Stop. You hit, you put them back, and then take off.
Go. Job security for the medics, So, anyways, but yeah, Fort Bragg was a lot of fun. Germany was a lot of fun.
Now, where were you at in Germany?
A place called Freiburg. It's outside of Frankfurt, about 30 clicks, or about 25-ish miles, whatever you want to work in there. It was a lot of fun in Germany. Germany is always thought of as this beer and brat place. Everybody's going to go have a beer. Everybody gets, French fries and sausage and German beer. Well, that's true too. But there's a side of Germany that you don't always get to see unless you get out of the barracks. And I was not going to sit in the barracks because I grew up, my parents took us and we traveled a little bit and we got to see things. So that bug kind of carried over. So I went to Germany and I was like, okay, it's the weekend. We're not the duty unit. I don't got to be anywhere. Here's 20 marks, let's go see. And 20 marks back then, was a lot of money. So we'd went out and we'd head out on the train and we'd find something. And everything is really well labeled. You just got to read German.
That would help.
That would help, right? So the first thing they do in Germany is they put you in a Head Start class. They teach you a basic rating knowledge of German, the money, and the transportation system.
Okay.
So we're like, okay. So my buddy and I, we took off. And we went and saw castles, and the Romans were all across
Right,
Germany.
all through Europe.
And so we saw a lot of the Roman ruins.
Right.
The technology then was incredible, because how many people can heat your house without having a heater? Well, they did, and it was really cool how how they did it. We saw some incredible sights. As we went to the Frankfurt Zoo, there's a great garden in Frankfurt itself, called the Blume Garden. It's like a big flower, kind of where they showcase all the flowers and things, and they have a recreation area where you can go in and you rent boats and go canoeing and things like that. And there's just so much stuff that's just not beer and brats. But
Right.
and so 18 months went fast. It was over and I was like, wow, I still have stuff to do.
Did you extend?
No, I rotated back, went to Fort Hood, and again, the travel bug bit, and Fort Hood being right just about in the middle of nothing and nowhere. We went down to San Antonio a lot and visited the sites in San Antonio and the places around Copper's Cove and Lampasas and other places around there for different things, festivals in Austin and a lot of different things like that.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So when you were over in Germany and then over and back at Fort Hood, what MOS did you still have?
Well, that whole 3-year period, that was just a 3-year period of the thing, and I was a tank mechanic for all of it.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny because we would go out at Fort Hood. Fort Hood was it's a huge place. It's a huge base, and it's got a couple rivers on it, and
Really?
and so our maintenance team went out one day to go get a tank that was broke down, and it had been raining, so one of the rivers was a little bit swollen. And armored personnel carriers, the first thing you got to know about them is they do float.
Right.
So we had seen a convoy of them cross the same river the day before. We didn't think anything of it. And if you know what a recovery vehicle is, it's just this massive bulldozer-looking tank.
Right.
It doesn't float. All right? So we set up on the one side, and we waited. Our SOP was to wait until the tanks get across the crossings and then go meet them on the other side. This guy took off right into the water. Huge wall of water flies up and goes everywhere. Okay, no big deal. I didn't think, you always see the commercial of the tank splashing through it, so that's what we're thinking. He gets about halfway, and the water starts coming up and up and up and up. And the next thing we see, he's nose level in the water. The tank's still moving, underwater. And then all of a sudden it stops. And he climbed out of this thing real quick, and he's standing up on top of it, ankle deep in water, and we can't see this tank anymore. So we had to run back to the motor pool. We had to get 2 more of those things and a scuba diver to go out and get this tank out.
Holy mackerel.
It was a lot of fun. We gave the guys a hard time for it for another year after that, but it was pretty insane.
We're going to take a quick break. So come back and hear some more stories with them. So get a cup of coffee and join us. We'll be right back.